Hi friends, it's Suzanne from Making It in Maine. Sitting in my backyard, I just got back from my very first maker interview, and I wanted to just set the stage for it because I should have put a microphone on my friend when we were outside at her house, because her voice is not as booming as mine, and so parts of what she says you can't hear well. And also I would like to apologize for portions of her in the video. Her head is chopped off, okay? It's not literally chopped off, it's still attached to her body, but in the taking it over to iMovie, the head got chopped off. When I'm looking at it, videoing it, and even playing it back, her head isn't chopped off, but iMovie chops it off, and I need to poop or get off the pot, as they say, and get some other editing software so this doesn't keep happening. So please bear with me. You'll still be able to hear her talk, and you'll still see her lovely handcrafted items. But I just wanted to say I apologize for the chopping off of her head. And Lisa, I am deeply sorry. Humble apologies to you, and much gratitude for letting me interview you today. It meant a lot to me, and it was super fun. So apologies for the missing head and the inability to hear some of what she was saying, mostly outside. So I hope you enjoy this upcoming episode of Making It in Maine. Hello friends, and welcome back, or welcome to Making It in Maine. I am Suzanne. Today I am in Yarmouth, Maine. It's a beautiful little city, and I am here to do my first interview with a maker. I am super excited, and I'm going to call her on camera now so I can introduce you. All right, so I would like to introduce to you Lisa Shano. Lisa and I have known each other for over 30 years, I think. Yes, and she can get into how we came to know each other, but she makes many beautiful things, and you will see those shortly. But first, I would like to begin at the start at the very beginning. Isn't that a song from The Sound of Music?
I think so.
Can you sing a little bit? My people know that I think in song lyrics. So anyway, Lisa and I don't know, I think we both have I know we both have a love of music, and we used to attend many concerts together and dance near our seats. So anyway, Lisa, let's go to the beginning. And can you tell everyone, were you creative as a kiddo, artistic or creative?
Oh yeah, always from the very beginning. I think my art teachers would always write, Lisa's very creative. But I think that came from my mom.
And so what kinds of things did you do as a kiddo that were artistic or creative?
Mom taught me how to crochet when I was really little, and I remember she always used to let us play with clay and like Play-Doh. That was a big part of growing up, which fueled my love of clay and tactile things as I was growing up.
And so you mentioned your mother teaching you how to crochet. So were there other family members who were artistic or creative?
I have 3 brothers, and we're all kind of creative in our own ways. Two of my brothers are musicians. One is a professional musician. One brother worked as a designer for the Gap for umpty years, and now is an interior designer. Yeah, so everybody's got something.
Awesome. And I have seen some of her brother's interior design stuff, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's fabulous. He's down in New York. Yep.
Yeah. So let's see. I know that you weren't born in Maine. So how did you make your way to Maine?
My grandparents on my mom's side lived in Newington, New Hampshire on a farm, and we always would come up every summer and visit them. And they ended up moving to Milton later on. But yeah, so it's my roots here, my connection. Mom went to high school in New Hampshire, so yeah.
And so, did you already say how? So New Hampshire, New Hampshire's close to Maine, but...
Yeah, and then when I was 20, I hiked a good section of the Appalachian Trail from Georgia to New York, and one of the people that I met on there was from Maine, became my boyfriend, and I came up to see him after it was all said and done, and visited my grandfather for a couple weeks, and then ended up staying for like 43 years. So here I am.
And so why do you continue to stay in Maine, to continue making it in Maine?
Because of the friendships that I've established here, and I went to college here and married, divorced here, but just stayed because work was here and friendships were here and teaching was here. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get to what you're making in Maine, but can you tell us how you're making it in Maine, or how you've made it in Maine since you've been here?
Yes. Well, so I've always done artwork. When I went to college, it was for Bachelor of Fine Arts, and with clay as my main medium, and drawing and painting is my second. And I worked in a pottery, Edgecombe Potters. That's where I met my favorite friend here. It's just, and so we've been friends ever since. And so after the pottery, I went back to grad school for my teaching degree, taught art for 10 years in Portland and in Bowdoin, Maine, and then ventured out into massage therapy school. So I've been a massage therapist and then acupuncturist as well. Got another master's in that. And now I do both of those things, my mainstay, in addition to teaching yoga and qigong. So that's how I earn my living here, how I make it in Maine. And I've always done artwork and gardening just to kind of fill my soul.
Yeah, something else we have in common: making handcrafts and gardening.
Yes.
All right, so without further ado, let us start looking at the beautiful things she has made. So first off, Lisa is going to show us some of her quilts. All right, Lisa.
All right, so Suzanne asked me to pull out some old things that she specifically wanted to see, and as I was going through these yesterday, I thought, oh my gosh, I hadn't looked at them well, some of these things are like 30 years old, so just FYI. And I found a bunch of things that I'd completely forgotten about, but the first thing that she asked about was, I had done this little series of miniature quilts in here, which I actually started as a storybook. So it was a kid's story, and then I illustrated it with quilts. So the book is called Creature Comforts, and it features 2 cats and a horse and a cow and some sheep and 1 human. So I'll just go through. So
I just want to give you a little close up. Lisa has done these. They're all hand quilted, and her hand quilting is gorgeous.
Yeah, so these are all appliqued, and then hand stitched with just a thin cotton batting, and then turn the edges over and do a little miter on the edges, and yeah, and then
And is this needle turn applique?
needle turn applique. It's just you have to do
Turning the edges under as you go along.
Yeah. Yep.
And this, I think you would call this a bit of trapunto.
Yes.
Where the some batting or whatnot is pushed underneath the cow to give him some dimension. Look at that. Just look, will ya? Oh my goodness. To give the cow a little bit of girth.
And there's some
chickens.
Yeah, and there's some fatting in there as well for the chickens are done the same way.
Love it. The chickens and the horse, those are a couple of my favorites.
The sheep were done with wool, kind of sewed on.
So sweet.
So you got that little tactile thing going on.
Oh, you quilters out there, I hope you're loving this, because I do.
All right, and then Tom the horse.
Pinky
the cat. Yep.
Oh, look at his mane. How sweet.
So that cat is like the major player in the story.
Ooh.
Saving the day of the story. And then we got a little shot of some mice. The mice and the mouse. And the babies.
Little mousies. Well, I know a lot of people don't like mice, but they sure are cute. I don't know about when they're hairless like that, but
they're better in storybooks than real life. Anyway, there's Mona the cat. She's caught a little mouse.
Ooh, she looks a little fierce there, doesn't she?
Yes. So these cats were based on my cats that were living with me at the time. In my house. There's kind of the crux of the story where the mouse kind of saves the day. Some information that she has. And then the cats are flying across the snowpack. They're going into the house. And then there's the little mouse peeking in under the porch. So this house was my old house in Richmond that I was kind of basing all the angles of everything on. The house and the porch, etc., and the fields.
Nice.
And
Here's another favorite of mine.
sleeping in bed.
Look at her. Look at her lovely hair. And she's got a quilt over her.
And the mouse surprises her and wakes her up. She has been oversleeping.
Sweet.
And the last panel is the one going out to milk the cow. And the cat's finally getting their breakfast.
So sweet.
And that's the little storybook, Creature Comforts. So I did it in a little.
Love it. Do you still have a copy of your book?
I have a few copies left. Yep.
Yeah, we might show an image of that at the end. We won't have her run and get it now, but maybe we'll pop an image of that in afterwards. She did some lovely detailing borders around each page. Yeah, this girl is so talented. All right, next. What'd you say?
So they were little pen and ink drawings of the borders. I had fun with that. So another one that Susu asked me to show is when I lived in Richmond, there's some beautiful old Victorian homes, actually all kinds of homes there that were really cool architecturally. So I spent some time just going around, like hanging outside of these houses, taking pictures.
Stalker!
Or just drawing outside the home and then making them into little miniature quilts. And then I did put them all together in one kind of, it's not a big quilt, but it's a bigger quilt. Anyway, so that's it all together. So
I'm going to come in close just so in case the iMovie chops it off. Oof, what a gorgeous house that is.
beauty. And yeah, Richmond has some gorgeous homes.
I think they were maybe some sea captains' houses, right?
Yeah. And that was the view from the bridge that goes over to Dresden. I'm looking back toward Richmond.
I want to take that top corner so we can go down. Okay. Oof, here's another lovely one. Can you let that top fold right down, gal?
Oh,
let that drop.
Sorry.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah, look at the beautiful. Oof, so gorgy. Okay, and I'm guessing that is Drum Church.
That is.
Dresden Richmond United Methodist Church.
Yes.
Which I used to attend with Lisa. And here's another.
Little gingerbread house.
See the lace she used for the gingerbread trim. Can you go up a little bit, gal, in case when I edit this it gets chopped off? All right, and let's move over to the last one. And this is an old mill, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yep, so that's the view going up.
Can you pull it over a little to the coach? Okay, right there. Here was an old mill. And yeah. All right, so lovely. Just look at her hand stitching, her hand quilting. Oh, so divine. All right, beautiful.
So when Suzanne and I worked together at the pottery, I'm not sure when it started, but we started calling each other gal. Notice that. And I trace it back to, and it may be different for you, but this is why I did it, or why I started doing it, was because when I was in college, an art student, there was also an industrial arts building at USM, which was like a brand new facility, and it had graphic arts classes and wood shop classes. Let's get Susan in the picture there. And I wanted to take some of those classes, but art students weren't allowed to go to the industrial arts.
Oh, wow.
So I had to petition the school to get in there.
Good for you, gal.
And they finally let me in. So I took the graphic arts and I took a wood shop. And the wood shop, the class was like 20 young men, whatever, and 2 women. So just me and one other woman. And the teacher, of course, was a male, and he knew all of the guys' names, but the whole time, the whole semester, he never bothered to learn my name or the other woman's, and he just called us both gal.
Oh, my word.
And at first I was like really kind of ticked off at that, and then I was just like, it was just too funny to even like contemplate. And so I started calling you gal, and you started calling me gal at the pottery. In my mind, it was always because of that, but you may have a different reason. Like you may just call other people gal too. I never.
No, I do not. You're my only gal.
Okay,
you're my one and only gal. I don't think I call anyone else gal. I'm gonna have to notice or be aware now. But yeah, I don't think anybody else. But yeah, she also calls me Susu, and I think at times we've also called each other Mama. Do you remember? Yeah. So
that was you calling me that, and then we both started.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, so we rarely do I call her Lisa, and rarely does she call me Suzanne. So anyway, did we see everything in that stack? I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
I think we stopped there.
Okay. So this one was, So this was like a self-portrait one.
Still want to show this one?
Yeah, we can show it.
Okay, this is the top. Okay.
And as self-portraits go, of course, there's always some personal, deep, dark stuff. But anyway, so this top part is just kind of my view out my backyard when I used to live in Richmond. Just little landscapey fields, an old house, like an old farm. Yep. And then got that's kind of an interesting story. I was going through a divorce, and I went to Paris with my brother, and trying to decide if if I should get divorced or not. I don't know. Anyway, I looked down at the floor in this mosaic and I saw clearly in the tiles like this, no, like, don't stay married.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Anyway, there's always those little signals from the universe.
Pretty powerful. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Anyway, so I came up with these other little borders to just kind of fit in, because these pieces, of course, are all different sizes and shapes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. If you're familiar with art history at all, the Venus of Willendorf is a fertility symbol. They're little stone sculptures that were discovered probably like thousands and thousands of years ago, probably like 5,000 years old. So I used that because, of course, I was going through all of that at the time, as I was going through my divorce, like, because I do not have kids. Anyway, over here, so that's kind of
hold it down a bit. Thanks. Okay.
And just kind of dealing with the thought that I probably was not going to have kids. Yeah, because I got divorced when I was 30. And just dealing with all of that. And then at the same time, while we were both working at the pottery together, we went through a long phase of where I just had to throw pots a lot of the time because we were going through construction of the pottery, instead of going through a rhythm of like throwing and then glazing and then stacking and firing. It was like all throwing.
Produce.
It was yeah. And I ended up with carpal tunnel and had to get surgery on both my wrists. So it was a big deal for me, not just for the pain, but I ended up changing, like having to leave the pottery and change professions, and that's when it went into teaching. Anyway, so that's that. You notice around the border, it's mugs that are then tipping and then breaking and then shattering. So that's what I did there.
Wow. Okay. All right, and then the last one.
Last one is just a heart, a broken, kind of shattered heart after the big heavy divorce quilt. I'm sorry. But it was just what I was going through at the time, and it definitely helped to kind of work it through in images and get it just out there.
Yeah.
So
Sort of the equivalent of breakup songs in country music and stuff. It's all therapeutic, you know.
Yeah.
We have various ways of processing our emotions, and kudos to you for channeling it into something creative.
thanks, Gal.
Yeah. All right, so she's got one more to show us in the quilts. All right.
Been bombarded. So this was a few years later, after I had gone back to school, graduate school, which was 3 years, to do my teaching degree for art. And after it was done, I just did this quilt over the summer, which was just kind of a, like, showing a difference of how I felt afterwards, kind of freedom finally of getting through school, that big slog of school, and just kind of happy things of summer, dancing and lots of dancing, lots of yoga, just lots of movement, and just kind of being more light and playful with the quilt.
Yeah.
So that was in 1997. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing and observing and
Thank you. So that is the quilt segment of her creativity. So there's so much more. Hold on to your hat. We'll be back. So Lisa has gone to get some other things that she has made, and I will show you the book that she wrote. She illustrated it with all those beautiful quilts. And as I was mentioning, the borders that she did around the pages, she did those borders. I think she said pen and ink. So the detail is just so great. Just show you a few. Let's see. Yeah. Look at the the hen up there. All right, here she comes. Hold the phone.
Through the quilts, and she showed you my book, and then pretty much after that, in the late 90s, I started working with rug hooking. I taught myself how to do that, and it's gone through a bunch of different learning curves here, but the first series that I did was this little series, and I did it kind of as a month at a time, kind of going through what was happening outside in my gardens at the time. You can see like spring flowers and
Whoops, let me go back.
bleeding heart, and then daffodils and primroses and tomatoes and sunflowers, and sometimes I work in elements of quilting here, the tumbling blocks.
Cool.
I did a couple of these to see later.
Okay, tell us about the hands.
The hands. There's an art form in India called Mehendi, which is like henna tattoos on hands that brides get for their weddings and other important occasions. So I love those designs, so I kind of did those as a rug hooking. So I made up some of those and did that.
So how do you happen to have that amongst your sort of garden series?
It was just an idea that I had at the time, and I wanted to put it in. So
Yeah.
hands are just important to everything.
They're beautiful.
I do tend to kind of go off the rail sometime.
It's good to go off the rails, gal. Awesome.
Back, got some irises there, and you can see there I started to work more in kind of a radial design, moving from the center out.
Look at those little beauties. What are those flowers,
Those
Lisa?
are little invented blossoms.
Oh,
maybe
well,
like
there.
apple
I
blossoms.
wish I had some invented blossoms in my garden. Beautiful.
And the gladiolas, used to have a bunch of gladiolas that I grew, and even after I pulled them out, they were still popping up for years later.
Yeah, so beautiful.
And that was another little, like a paper cut design, radial design that I did. Again, just a kind of random idea that I got inserted in. And then autumn leaves, which are again kind of that central design and working out, which I did.
Lovely.
Contour. And then more kind of moving toward the winter, the wreath, and pine cones, little sprigs of the orange berries, and some winter trees in full moon.
Nice. And what, pardon my ignorance, gal, but what are these?
There's like little grasses that stick up sometimes when it's just a light snow.
Yep. Okay. Oh, beautiful.
And then one more kind of cut paper snowflake design for winter.
Lovely.
Yes.
So that is series 1, and we will stop and load some more. Okay, here is Lisa with round 2 of some of her hooked pieces.
Okay. So the next series that I started was all based on kind of radial designs or mandala designs, so central images that work their way out. And I always started these with little drawings first. So these are just little squares of cards, like little tile. They're like 3.5 inches squared, and I always do them in like little pen and ink. I've got lots and lots of these that I just started, and I would do these like one a day. I did them one a day for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. So I've got lots of different things to draw from. So when it's time for me to work on the rugs, they take me usually like maybe 3 or 4 months to work on at a time, because I do tend to work kind of small and very packed in. And I'm only working on them, in addition to my other work, so maybe an hour or 2 at a time. But anyway, so they start out as little drawings, and then I freehand draw onto the backing, the linen or the burlap or whatever I'm using. And then I've got a whole stash of colors that I put in. So so anyway, so this is the next round of things, and I worked on this mandala idea for quite a while. I keep returning to it. So this is like the first series of 12. You want to get a close up there. I've continued on with them. I've got another little pile of them.
Are they not gorgeous or what? Oh my goodness. Oof.
I found out pretty quickly when I started that I, would just use Sharpie to draw right onto the linen or burlap, and I think by the time I got to the third one, I was like, oh, that design's just really not working, because some of the things that you can do in drawings is just very different from what you can do in wall.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a totally different medium. So at some point, I would just totally change my mind midstream in many of these little pieces and just go off into a different direction. So they don't always match up with the original drawing.
They are stunning. They are stunning. I am just so in awe of her hooking. Let me go. Excuse me. Oh, I've got to help unscrew here. Hold on. Let me just go a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer. She works in, I don't know, a 2 or a 3 cut, perhaps.
I don't even know the number of it, because I strip them using a rotary cutter.
Yeah, she doesn't use a wool cutter. She doesn't rip and tear. She uses, as she said, a rotary cutter and a ruler that you would use for quilting. But I that's about it. I think about 1/8 of an inch, roughly, and I think that would equate to maybe a 3 cut. Possibly 2, but I don't know. Are they not gorgeous? Oof, I love those spirals. Beautiful, beautiful, Lisa.
Thanks, Gal.
All right, let's get ready for the next round. Here we are with the next round of small hooked pieces.
Yeah, so again, this is the continuation of mandala designs, and getting up. I see at some point I realized that I should have been maybe signing the work or putting my initials or even dates into some of the pieces, which I had never done before. So some of these I did work in the dates and put my initials in as part of the design. So you can see this is like, I distinctly remember doing this during COVID lockdown 2020. And there are a couple others from 2020 as well. Maybe that one down there.
Oh yes, 2020 there.
Go to 2021. And then at some point I was like, I stopped doing the name and initials. I still do it occasionally, just when I think of it, and I think I may just go to putting the name like how I used to do for the quilts, just put it in Sharpie and stitch it to the back. But anyway, so more radial designs, different colors. I was just talking to Suzanne about how I'm always drawn to kind of purples and yellows.
This is, I think, my very, very favorite of all of them. I just, the color, the design, just everything is stunning.
Kind of endless design variations that you can do.
This is another favorite. I love those balls. The balls around, and I love the sweet little square in the center. Oh, this girl is so talented. Just in awe, just in awe. Oof, I love these circles. I think I have a thing for circles, perhaps. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, lovely, lovely. Here's more of her hands. Tell us again what that.
Handi designs, the tattoos, the henna tattoos from India. Different color variations in this one and different designs. Yeah, I just have fun with hands.
Let's see. Did you actually trace your hand?
I did, and then it ended up getting a little bit bigger as I was hooking.
Yeah. Lovely, Lisa.
Thank you.
Instead of lovely Rita, lovely Lisa. What's the next line after lovely Rita? Rita made. Lovely Lisa. Lisa made. She made all of these. Woo! Okay, we'll show you the next round. So Lisa, in your quilts and in your rugs, let's talk about what your inspiration is. In some of your pieces, your inspiration has been your gardens and your yard, and some has been just personal things that have happened in your life. What inspired your mandala series, and can you share anything else about things that inspire your creative making?
Yeah, mandalas are, a symbol that have been used for a long time in India, and there's a really lovely practice of drawing mandalas or doing them as sand paintings. It's a way to really get centered. So you find if you start in the center of something and work your way out, it can very easily just become a lovely meditation as you're doing it, whether you're drawing it or doing it as a rug. And so it's again, endless design variations. Like you can go gazillion different ways. So anytime I start drawing one, it can take off in a million different directions, and it's very good for me mentally to just have that little focus in front of me.
So you spoke about the mandalas as being a centering thing, and that made me think of throwing pots, because in order to have a pot that's not all wobbly and whatnot, you have to sort of center. Is that how
the clay,
sort of center the clay? And
otherwise it's
yeah,
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's in the drawing.
So what is your connection to India? Like the henna on the hands and the mandalas that you're speaking of. What makes you feel a connection to those things?
Well, when I was an art teacher and I just discovered one day, like, I don't even remember where I was looking, but I saw those designs on the hands, and I don't know, it just struck a chord in me that I loved that these beautiful designs were like on the skin as some kind of sacred ritual, as some beautiful sacred ritual. And then the mandalas, I've been a yoga teacher forever, for a long time. And whenever I go out to Kripalu, which was where I trained, there are just mandalas everywhere, like big, beautiful mandalas. And some of them, to be honest, are like so simple that I'm like, it'd be interesting to make something a little bit more interesting than that. And that's where I got it from. Like, I like the idea of starting in the middle. And then I was like, gosh, but you could just do so many more interesting things. So that's where I kind of took off from there. And not to, naysay that. I mean, there are many beautiful traditional things. I just thought, it'd be interesting to just push it a little further.
Nice. Yes. So the Buddhist in me thinks that there was, that you must have some deep connection in a past life or something to India, or some sort of connection like this. That's just my thought. All right. So let's take a look at your last little series here. Tell us about these.
Yeah, so this is one of the last ones I did as a kind of a mandala design, and going into that feather idea. Did a couple of other feathery ones before. This one kind of based on a peacock feather.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to do other things. Thought maybe kind of get away from the mandala design for a bit. And I have collected heart rocks for a long time, and I decided to do something based on my little heart rock collection.
So that as you were starting to talk about this one, and as I was focusing in on it, one of the questions I was going to ask was, why are some of the hearts so wonky and almost unidentifiable as a heart? But now it makes sense, because heart rocks, sometimes it's a stretch, but you feel like you see the heart in it, even though it's a little wonky.
Exactly.
Exactly. Those are lovely.
Yes, I still whenever I take a walk, I always end up finding heart rocks.
Now, wasn't I with you out on Peaks Island, and was I with you? And we came upon a house that had a bunch of heart rocks along on their porch.
Oh, I don't think that was me, gal.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, gal Zakina.
So I have a basket currently on my dining room table with a few heart rocks.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. And then I started again, just that kind of grid pattern was kind of playing in the back of my mind, and I wanted to make this one more just like a play with colors and shapes, just using that rectangular shape or square shape.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of my faves. And then I was like, oh, I'll do different shapes. I'll do circles.
Love it. Love it.
Again, I'm just kind of playing with colors, how they look differently when you put them against other colors.
Yeah.
So
great. This one's neat. This one reminds me of wonky windows or something.
Yeah. So
what?
I wanted to take the shape of this and do kind of start with rectangles, but kind of just stretch them out, just a little like warped shapes. Play with a little
were
bit
you
more
having some
movement.
warped thoughts when you were doing it?
I just wanted to show a little more movement.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
And then the next one, this is my last one that I did. I started out with like a completely different idea to start. It was going to be more like this, but just playing around with shapes and colors and more like a little border. And when I set this up, I thought, oh, maybe, I'm thinking more about landscaping lately. And then just the idea came to me to do a tree, but just in different seasons. And once I did that, it was like, well, if you're looking out the window at that, it'd be cool to look at this as like a stained glass window.
Okay, that's exactly what came to my mind when I was looking at it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here comes Buddhist Suzanne again. So one of the Buddhist quotes that we often sort of keep in our mind when we're struggling in life, when we have something difficult we're trying to overcome, or an obstacle we're trying to overcome. One of the things that we say is that winter always turns to spring. So no matter what difficulty you're going through, that's the season of winter. But winter doesn't stay winter, and you will come out of that difficult time in your life. Winter always turns to spring. What a beautiful way to end this series. Thank you, Lisa, for showing us such incredibly beautiful work. I am just moved to tears.
Oh, thank you, gal.
Thank you. All right, so what did you think of all that beauty? Oh, I'm getting choked up again. I'm just such in awe of her talent. So do you make things every day? Do you work on making something every day? Do you?
Generally, yes. Yep. Depends on the time of year. Like right now, I've been doing a lot more work outside. My last project after I finished the last one that you went through with the stained glass window was binding all of these things because I essentially had 40 pieces that were just unfinished for 20 years. And then asked my good friend Suzanne about how she would finish it, and she gave me the idea to just use binding tape and finish it off. So that's been my project over the last few months of sewing that on with my featherweight, and then pinning it and hand stitching everything on the back. So they're finally all done, bound and completed.
Yay. So now, instead of just me and you, I keep encouraging her to have a show or something to get these shown by more people, because they're just so incredibly beautiful. Lisa, have you ever sold any of your work, or is that something you would consider?
I've never sold any of these. They take me so long to do, and they've been like, little meditations on each one, so I haven't even really thought about selling them. I sold the book, which were all my quilts that got put into that book, and I made them into cards as well, so I sold those for a while. Yeah.
So are there ever times where you're not feeling creative, or you don't have an idea of what to do next? Or do you ever have like the writer's equivalent of a dry spell?
Whenever I feel like I have a dry spell, well, I'd say usually now. Usually when I finish one piece and take it off the hooking,
the frame.
I usually put, even if I don't have an exact idea, I put something else right back up on my frame, and then look through my stack of drawings, and I can pull out like 5 or 6 that interest me, and then I will choose one and then start to do it, because just start to draw it, because I know it's going to be like a commitment of a few months. So I like what I do, and I go on from there. So yesterday actually I started doing more of the little tiny drawings in my journal, and so I got some good ideas of what I want to do next.
Ooh, I'm excited to see that. All right. So are there any creative avenues that you have not ventured down that you may at some point? Or yeah, and I'm also curious as to how you made such a, because she really doesn't quilt anymore. So how she made the jump from quilting to rug hooking. So yeah.
Oh yeah, quilts were a big part of my life for a long time. And then, but it really was like, as soon as I got hold of the wool, I just went that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it happens to others too, but yeah.
And I love quilts. I always loved quilts, and some of those elements work their way into the rugs. But there's just something really nice about the wool and really just like one stitch at a time, which I guess the hand quilting was that way too. But just different.
So, is there anything else that
I do? I don't know. I just went to the wool place in Brunswick the other day and got more colors. So I'm thinking I'll probably work this way for a while. I don't know what else I want to do. If something strikes me, I will do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if something else strikes her, I'll be back with her. So maybe we will take a walk outside and I'll show you her garden. And if this video is too long, perhaps that will be another segment. So in case I don't return, I just would like to say thank you for watching. Thank you for doing this, Lisa, being my first person to interview. I'm Suzanne, and we are making it in Maine. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. It'll help the channel grow. It'll help others see her incredibly beautiful work. You do have to log in to subscribe. You also have to log in to make a comment. You don't have to stay logged in, but you do have to do those things to subscribe and comment. Thumbs up if you like what you're seeing on my channel. Yeah, share, like, subscribe. Any of those things will be super helpful. So, from my heart to yours, what about your heart?
Absolutely. My heart to yours.
Thanks for watching. Hope you stop back soon. Bye for now.
Take care.
Right, here we are outside Lisa's house to look at her beautiful gardens. And when I first met her and she was living in Richmond, Maine, she had amazing raised bed gardens there, and her amazing talent with gardening continues here in Yarmouth. She's got some gorgeous peonies up along the side of her house there. Behind her is a blueberry bush.
Lots of blueberry bushes. There's 8 or 9 of them in here.
Yes, okay, more than one bush.
They're just about to turn, probably in a week or two. These guys will start. Some little foxglove that have volunteered over here.
Oof, beautiful foxglove. I love it so much. And I've had foxglove in my garden, but then it sort of disappears. Look at the beauty. And there's a pale yellow one there.
Some blackberries there.
Blackberries. More peonies down yonder and over there. Let's go a little bit closer. Oh, look at her lovely little raised bed situation over here.
So took down the old ones that were 12 or 14 years old that were really rotting, so I put in new metal ones this year. That's what the project.
Gorgeous. Oh my word, gal. Are those peonies also?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I have a similar peony, but I feel like these are different. Wow.
Yeah, they're just like single petaled.
Yeah.
The other ones are, really
Right. Right. And that's what I have. Oh, those are gorgeous. Look at her raised beds. How lovely. And everything's so tall already. I think she had a 2-week jump on me with her planting. Did you plant those squash from seed or seedling?
The squash, I had put in a bunch of my compost into the raised beds, and before any of my other seeds came up, those were coming up, like, just from the compost. So
Oh, wow.
And they were all over, so I transplanted them all over to there.
Wow, awesome.
Probably have to thin those out.
Oh, there's her compost. Awesome. All right, gal, are you better at turning over your compost? Because I stink at it.
I do turn it over quite frequently.
See, she's doing it right. She's doing it right. Oh, I love the rockiness back there. Love a sort of rocky ledge or rock situation.
There's some kiwis back there on the trellis.
Did you hear her? Yep, she's got a trellis back there with little mini kiwis. Tiny little guys, very yummy.
Bunch more blueberries. And gooseberries are coming out this year.
Yes.
You can see them, they're doing pretty well.
Okay, so gooseberry, are they ready to eat?
No, they turn like crimson.
Okay, I don't know if that seems like I must have had a gooseberry, but it's not. Are they similar tasting to a husk cherry?
They're more like a currant.
Okay.
They're like sweet tart.
Okay, no.
They're delish.
And
it
what's
freezes really
what's your tree back there?
well. That is a crabapple tree.
Okay. And it looks like you prune it?
I prune it.
The top, yeah, to keep it from getting tall.
Yeah.
And do you use the crab apples? Oops, pardon my hand. Do you use the crab apples?
You know, I have not used those. And when I lived in Richmond, we had 2 big trees, and so I made crabapple butter out of that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This one is pretty little, and the deer seem to get a lot of the apples.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
What's that beepy noise?
That beepy noise is, I've got 10 little stakes in the ground. They're solar powered. They're supposed to, I don't think they were, I just put them in. They're supposed to chase out or chase away things that burrow down. Like, there's a major chipmunk problem here. Chipmunks, moles, etc., things that burrow down. It's supposed to create a sound and vibration that will get them out. But I've seen the chipmunks and the squirrels like literally sitting next to them. So I'm kind of thinking they don't work very well.
Too funny. Okay, and is that like a peach tree over?
It's a cherry tree.
Cherry, okay.
Yeah, and I just saw some birds there the other day getting the cherries. They're not ripe yet, but they'll, even if they're hard, they go after them.
More gorgeous peonies.
There were 4 there, and I don't know why, but the 2 back ones are not doing so well.
Yeah, I had an issue with one of my peonies in my front garden. It just sort of totally like disappeared, and a little bit is coming back, but I don't know what happened. What is that tall stuff beyond your
The way back.
right here? I'm blanking on this, the name of this.
So that's lady's mantle.
Yes, so just beyond your lady's mantle, near to the left of the stump.
It's a shorter version of Joe Pyeweed.
Okay.
Which over there is a better example of it right there in front of her.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So much healthier over there.
Yeah.
For some reason, the slugs get it over here and they chew it up.
Yeah.
After a certain point, they'll outgrow the slugs and be okay. But
Yeah. And did you make that sweet, sweet trellis? You did?
I did.
Oh my gosh. I should not be surprised at all. Let's go look more closely at that. That is just that is so cute. All right, well, the blackberry bush is blocking it, but how cute is that? Do you have something that climbs up it?
No, I used to have it over by the bulkhead, and then I did have some sweet peas that climbed up it, and then when I put the blueberries in, I took it out.
Yeah.
It's actually just in my garage for years, and I just recently whipped it out again.
Yes, whip that out again. Lovely. Do you have any clematis here, gal?
No.
That would be a beautiful thing for your clematis.
Yes.
If you get some. All right. So that is a little tour around Lisa's incredible garden.
A word to the wise, if you're ever thinking of planting any kind of mint, put it in a container first. If you turn around, I had spearmint that was around by that tree. It completely took over this area, so I've been ripping it out, and I finally just put that border around. Hopefully it's going to contain it, but it smells great. But
word to the wise. Thank you, Lisa, for showing us your garden.
Thanks, Susan.
I'm here in Richmond, Maine. I decided to stop here to show you some of the houses that were in Lisa's quilt. Richmond was settled along the Kennebec River, so I just thought I would show you some of Richmond, Maine, in case you are not familiar with it. way over there is the Richmond-Dresden Bridge that used to be a swing bridge, and it was rebuilt and is now very high, so no one has to man it and open it for boats to pass under. So that is the Kennebec River in Richmond, Maine, and over there is Swan Island. You can take a ferry over, or you could kayak over, and there are lean-tos over there so you can spend the night. Two friends and I, many years ago, went over for the night and stayed in a lean-to. I had nothing, no pad really under me, so it was one of the worst nights sleep I think I ever had. I did bring a mosquito net, I think, to put around me, but it was so hard and uncomfortable. But anyway, there is Swan Island in Richmond, Maine. Now for the houses. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.